guys, welcome to my channel. Thank you so much for coming back. Today's video is going to be one of my nursing real talk videos. This is when I give you some serious but informative information. This is when I don't sugarcoat anything at all. I give it to you just like it is. So if you're new to my channel, I'd like to say welcome. If you haven't already, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button down below and also hit the notification button so that you'll never miss another video from me again. So today I'm going to be telling you 5 things that you shouldn't do as a nurse. These things will get you in trouble, get you fired, get you a lawsuit, and worse yet, get your license taken away from you. So I just want to put these things out there if you guys don't already know, especially for you nursing students and new nurses. So if you want to hear what these things are, please go ahead and stay tuned. Number one, the number one thing you don't ever want to do is take pictures with your patients and post it anywhere, especially on social media. This goes especially to new nurses and nursing students. So you're in nursing school, you're excited, you want your friends and family to know that you're in nursing school and you're taking care of real patients. So you really want to prove it to them. So you feel like, let me just take a picture with this patient. The patient is so nice. This little old lady, she's just so super cute and I just want to show the whole world. Do not do it. First of all, put your phone away when you go to work. Don't even look at it. Don't think about it. Don't smell it. Don't do anything with your phone, especially when it comes to patients. That is a huge HIPAA violation, to take a patient's pictures and post it anywhere, especially on your social media. So whatever you do, do not do that. If your friends and family don't believe that you're a nurse or a nursing student, that's their business. Tell them to look at your student loans or your bank account. Then they'll believe you. Number 2, do not talk about your patients to anyone that is not in direct care of that patient or that doesn't have authorization to get any information about this patient. So don't talk about your patient to your coworker that is not taking care of this patient. Don't talk about this patient to the next door patient. Some patients can be sneaky. They'll come to you and say, is that Miss Jones in room 506? That's my friend. We live in the same neighborhood. Is that her? Or how is she doing? How is her health? Don't tell them anything. Even if it was Miss Jones, that is not your business. That is not their business. Just like you're not going to go and tell Miss Jones about them, you're not going to tell them about Miss Jones. That is not your job. You're also not going to talk to a random doctor that walks onto the unit and has nothing to do with this patient. You're not going to tell them anything about this patient. Because why? How do you know that's a real doctor, number 1? Number 2, how do you know that's not a family member trying to find out information that they're not supposed to get from this patient? How do you know who they are? You're not going to talk to a random visitor about this patient. Even if they say that they are the patient's only child, you're not going to talk to them about this patient unless they have, usually the hospital will give a certain PIN number or certain identification code to let you know that this person is safe to talk about the patient to them. Sometimes you can't even talk to another nurse about a patient. I've seen people get in trouble for that, especially if you're talking badly about the patient. You're not supposed to gossip about the patient because another family member could overhear you. Another patient can overhear you. Anybody can hear what you're saying, especially if it's in bad taste. Don't do it. Don't talk about your patients at all unless it's pertaining to their health, to someone that is in direct care of that patient. Number 3, do not leave any information about your patients in any open spaces. So for example, don't leave the patient's information on a computer and walk away from it. Don't leave it on a clipboard and walk away from it. Don't leave it at the lunch table, the cafeteria, the break room. You're not even supposed to be writing anything that identifies the patient on your papers. That's one of the reasons we use room numbers instead of patients' names. We have our report sheets, which is like the nurse's brain. You're supposed to write things down about the patient to help you remember them. Do not put the patient's medical ID number. Do not put their social security number. Do not put their names. You can use their initial like TC or PR or whatever, but don't put any information that is going to identify the patient, and do not leave it in any open spaces where anybody can access it. So sometimes your co-workers would tell on you, especially if you're working with mean and evil people. They will tell on you and you will get in trouble. Number 4, Don't gossip about your patient to anyone, especially the oncoming or outgoing nurse. This is so wrong. I've seen this happen so many times. Let's say you take care of a patient today and you and the patient just didn't get along for some reason, and then you wait for the night nurse and then go sit there and gossip about this patient and say how mean and nasty and rude the patient was. That is completely not ethical. It's wrong. Just because you had a bad time with this patient, it could be something you did. Yes, it could be something the patient did, but it could be something you did too. So for you to paint this negative picture about the patient to another nurse, that's not only going to make you look bad, but it's going to ruin that nurse's shift as well, because now she has this perception of this patient and she's going to walk in there with that attitude, not really giving themselves the opportunity to get to know the patient, but also not giving the patient the opportunity to show them who they are. And it's just a bad case for everybody. And don't leave the patient's room and go out to the nurse's station and gossip about the patient. As I said before, you never know who's listening. It could be a patient's family member. It might be a white patient who has a black family member. It might be a Hispanic patient who has an Asian husband. So just because you think, oh, there's no way this person knows that patient, you never know. We live in a very diverse universe nowadays, and you never know who knows who. So don't gossip about patients. Don't go home and talk to family members about patients and identify them. Yes, sometimes if you have a hard day at work, you want to talk to your family, you can tell them what happened and you can give them a vague explanation without identifying the patient. So last but not least, the last thing you should never ever do as a nurse is use patient's identifier. And all these points go together, and I've probably already mentioned this already. Do not use patient's identifier for no reason. As I said before, you might be a new nurse, or you might be a nursing student and you get assigned to 2, 3, 4, 5 patients and you are trying to find a way to remember them. Use their room number, use their initials. That's basically it. Never use the patient's social security number, never use the patient's name, never use the patient's medical ID number, never talk about where the patient lives. All of those things are so personal. Those are also huge HIPAA violations. Whatever information you need is on the computer. So if you need to really specifically learn something or read something about this patient, sign into the computer, go to the patient's chart and read what you need to read. Do not write those things down, because there is a good possibility that you could leave it laying somewhere and it could get into the wrong hands, and it could just be this snowball effect of trouble that you can get into. The medical world is beautiful, but it can also be very ugly, and you have to protect yourself. And especially us millennials, like, we usually don't take things serious, but these are things that you really have to pay attention to and take them serious. And I'm telling you guys, if you avoid these things, you will be good. So that is it for this video, guys. I hope the video was helpful to you guys. I hope the video didn't scare anyone. You just have to stay away from these things and you would be just fine. I know nurses who've been nurses for 50, 60 years and they managed to do it somehow, so it can happen for you guys as well. You just have to be smart and be careful. So I hope the video was helpful. If you have any questions at all, go ahead and leave them down below. And if you like the video, please go ahead and give it a big thumbs up, and also share the video with your friends and family. I appreciate you guys so much, and I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye.